Okay, we're back with a continuation of tools that are on the bench itself in Tier 2. And we started off on the left, and now we are panning our way over to the right. This thing's in the way. So behind that was these little boxes of drawers. They're pretty handy. Not too much to say about those. Tacky glue. I find myself using it quite frequently for, I mean, I can't really pinpoint what, but all kinds of little things. Anyhow, it's so thick, if you set it like that, when you go to get it, you're going to have to wait forever for it to come out. So I store it upside down in this PVC pipe, which has a bottom glued to it, because one time the cap fell off, and that whole inner surface filled with glue, and when they picked it up, it went everywhere. Here are some 1, 2, 3 blocks. This is more of a machinist kind of tool. Oops. We've got, they call them 1, 2, 3 blocks because they're 1 inch this way, 2 inches this way, and 3 inches this way. They come in handy for the modeler in that that's a pretty good 90 degrees. It's a nice flat surface. They're heavy, so you can stack them on top of stuff and hold things down while the glue's drying. Next over here, as far as big things go, is this. This is a rinse well brush cleaner, and this is a reservoir of water. Down here is where you actually clean your brush, and if you look in there, there's all kinds of bits of something. I don't know what that is. Who knows what I was doing above it? But anyhow, clean your brush off in this little well, and once that gets nice and goopy and nasty, you push this button, and it all escapes down into this bottom portion, and this thing eventually will fill that back up again. Sometimes you got to squeeze it, and then there's dried paint like that every now and again. I haven't used it for a while. If you don't, it gets all gooey like that. This one has a bit of I've done a little bit of a modification. I'll move over this way. It's still a work in progress, but down below here, right there, is an aquarium hose, and that goes through the table and down into a bigger reservoir below, so that I don't have to keep taking it upstairs to dump it or throw it out in the yard every couple of hours because I filled it up. All I have to do now is just fill that back up again, which leads me to an idea that I'll put a bigger reservoir up above with another aquarium hose that comes down and feeds the fresh tank. But haven't done that yet. Anyhow, that is the best station, the best brush cleaning station I've ran across yet. I mean, you've always got fresh water. You're not going to be knocking it over, and it serves all of my purposes. Maybe if it had it's got some roughage down at the bottom to to move your bristles around when you're doing that. I'd like that to be a little bit rougher. Maybe one day I'll fix that. But for now, it's okay. So this is my microscope. I got to pan out a little bit. And I didn't think ahead and move any of this stuff. One of the downsides to the microscope is I always pile up stuff in front of the garage. This is the microscope garage. Interestingly enough, this box I found it at a yard sale. The guy just gave it to me, and it was a box that casino dice were shipped in. Kind of nifty. Anyhow, so that's the garage for the microscope, and it just slides out on this little sliding thing from somebody's kitchen, and it has come in pretty handy. I don't know that I use it every time I have a modeling session, but quite frequently I do, and I don't know if it was a level up, but it certainly was a bump up towards a new level of modeling. Okay, we've looked at the shelf over here on the shelf on the table, which turns out to be a pretty handy storage area. Fairly sturdy. I did have to put a board at the bottom of it to it was pretty wobbly without it. So up above, I keep various liquids, the alcohol and the acetone. Down below, as you can see, there's some gloves and some looks like some ultra glow resin. Down below, we've got the ultrasonic cleaner, which is good for cleaning up your airbrush. A couple more Lazy Susans that haven't quite been assigned yet. We've got the soldering workstation for the photo etch. We've got a couple holders for models here. We've got some of these dog watering or hamster watering devices. I might incorporate that into my brush cleaning station. Haven't figured that out yet though, if I'm going to. This over here is a curing station for resin 3D printing. And down below we've got a couple models crammed in there. And one of these tape dispensers. I've got another one somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Anyhow, these big tape dispensers, I don't see them all that often. But when I do, I try to grab them. They're the big kind that hold the masking tape. This is another Lazy Susan that's more of a working thing. I put parts there as I'm working on them. That way I know where they're at, and I can spin that around and get to them. Once the model gets built further, the model ends up going there, and that keeps it separate from other things, from getting pushed into something that could possibly break it. Okay, I'm thinking that's about it, apart from a couple smaller items such as the wet palette there, which would probably get their own videos later. There is one thing I'll talk about briefly, and that is, this is another palette. This is one of those plastic ones that has all the it has like 6 divots in it. This one's got a piece of cardboard under here so that I have this flat area, and then I've got 2 reservoirs for washes and such. In this area I just used like a regular paint palette. And once it's covered up and can't take any more paint, I'll peel that aluminum foil off there, put another one on, and I'm ready to go again. I don't have to ever clean it. I just throw away the foil. And it's on this block of wood just to raise it up, give it a little bit of weight, make it easier to find. That's one thing that I have discovered, that some things, they like to disappear and hide. And so I'll paint them, which is something I didn't mention about my glue forks. You know, that black and yellow pattern, that's painted like that, so whenever it's laying there, I know it's black and yellow. I just need to look for that striped pattern. Same thing with my tweezers. When it's time to find those, I look for the red and white pattern. Not everything's like that, but a couple things are. I did paint my pin vise a long time ago because it blended in with I think the hobby knife I was using at the time. Okay, I think that is it for Tier 2 tools. There might be a couple other things that I skipped over, but like I said, it'll be stuff that gets its own video later, perhaps. So, next, of course, is Tier 3, and that video should be coming along, and not too awful long. Okay, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like. Hit that notification button, and you'll see more of the same.